Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to ALAZAHR University. Welcome to the English department. I hope that you will find studying at this department is quite profitable and comfortable. Uh, our department provides lectures for all courses. These lectures are today are online because of the present circumstances, state of closure, the state of corona. I hope that you are quite well and your families. Please pay attention to the safety requirements. Try to stay at home. Try to observe the directions of the health authorities, and always be clean and healthy. This, of course, will help you to be happy, healthy, and, of course, successful. Our lectures in this course will focus on passages of different sizes. This will enable you to read short passages and other passages of different size. This will help you. We will train you to read carefully, to read slowly at first, and then you can read more quickly. Your speed in reading will improve. I'm confident. My advice is that you should read many things in English. You should read the news, you should do your courses, you should read news about sports, about health, about anything. You can read newspapers, magazines, you can read online so that you can improve your reading skills. This, of course, will help you in other areas. We have speaking, we have speaking skills is related to reading, or reading skill is connected with speaking. They are related to each other. So you have to speak well in order to read well. Try to read and understand. You can, of course, read things which are difficult for you. You can underline difficult words, look them up in a good English dictionary. Always use English dictionary. I encourage you to use English dictionary. This will enrich your vocabulary, and consequently, as a result, this will be reflected in your achievement, in your performance in reading, writing, of course, and speaking. Today, this is our first lecture on reading. We have reading, the course is called Reading 1 and Lesson 1. So I just try to prepare you to read. Of course, I'm going to read short passages. We have passages followed by exercises. I'll try to encourage you to read the short passages and do the exercises later on. All right, now we have the first reading, the first passage. It consists of 2 paragraphs, or let's say 1 paragraph at first. We are looking for the main idea. Left-handed people. The passage is about left-handed people. Those people who use their left hand. Left-handed people suffer more from stress than their right-handed peers. According to a study of 1,100 adults by University of Michigan researchers. As a result, they smoke and drink more. 55% of the left is smoked, whereas fewer than half of the right is smoked. Moreover, the lefties consumed more alcohol per year than their right-handed counterparts. Of course, we have here to look for the main idea. The topic of this course is left-handed and stress. Left-handed and stress. We have the main idea here. The question is about the main idea. And later on, we have comment. Notes that in the paragraph, it was the first sentence that told you the main idea. This sentence, called a topic sentence, usually appears at the beginning. The topic sentence is something you must master when you turn to writing. When you write a paragraph, you have to pay much attention, great attention to topic sentence, because this will, of course, show you and show the teacher that you are a good writers. Sometimes, however, the paragraph's main idea is expressed in the last sentence. And sometimes readers must look for the main idea of a paragraph by summarizing the author or author's message themselves. Now, the next exercise is underline the main idea and circle the supporting details as you read the paragraph below. Then write them in note form in the space provided. All right. So our exercise now is to look for the main idea. That means you are looking for the topic sentence. And as we have said, it usually appears at the beginning of the paragraph. But sometimes it may appear at the end of the paragraph, the last sentence. Less frequently, and rarely, you sometimes have to sum up the whole meaning of the paragraph in order to form or find for yourself the main idea, or then you have to, of course, write the topic sentence. All right, now let's move to the next point. Reading 2. You ought to know what to do to help a person who is choking. First, you stand behind the choking victim and put your arms around his or her waist. Second, you make a fist and place the thumb side against the person's stomach, just below, just above the navel, but below the ribs. Third, grasp your fist with your other hand and press into the victim's abdomen with a quick upward thrust. Repeat this action if necessary. Now, we have to look for the main idea. Of course, we have here the main idea is how to help a choking person, and the supporting details, that means those details would support and explain the main idea or the topic sentence. We have first, we have second, and we have third. So we have three steps. They act as supporting details. We give numbers or letters A, B, C, and D. So we have A, first. You stand behind that shocking victim and put your arm around his or her waist. B, we have second. You make a fist and place the thumb side against the person's stomach and just above the navel, but below the ribs. C, we have third. Grasp your fist with your other hand and press into the victim's abdomen. So we have three steps. We have A, B, and C. They are expressed in the passage as first, second, and third. And it can be said, in other words, firstly, secondly, and thirdly. The same meaning, but in other words. I hope you have understood the point of this, stage. And of course, you can look for the main idea in any paragraph you read. You need to to look for the main idea. This will help you. This will save you time and travel. Otherwise, if you don't find if you don't know the main idea of a paragraph, then you are wasting your time. You get lost. You got lost and confused. And this is, of course, against the purpose of reading. We read to understand. We don't read just to read. We don't read just to read. Even if you read for pleasure, for passing time, you have to understand your reading material. All right, we move to the next stage. This reading is much longer than the other two previous two. We have what's best or what's the best way for you as an employer to deliver bad news to an employee. First of all, you have to break the news yourself, face to face with the recipient. You can't write memos to tell people they will not get raises this year or that they have made an error or are not performing as well as expected. You have to show them how you feel about the matter and that you are personally sorry and sympathize with them. If you indicate that you are ready to listen to their reactions to your bad news, you will undoubtedly save yourself from their wrath. Above all, you must be ready for an emotional reaction from the recipient of bad news. Give the people time to digest your news and to control the emotion they invariably feel. Although it is never easy to break bad news, if you follow these steps, you will at least soften the blow. This is the end of the paragraph or the passage. Now, if I ask you about the main idea is not expressed in the first sentence. The main idea is expressed in the final parts. We have here, you follow these steps. We have steps. If you follow these steps, you will soften the blow of the bad news, suffered by the recipient. If you are an employer and you have an employee and you have to tell him or her bad news, you have to follow these steps. The steps are, we have first of all, and you have to, for example, to be ready for sympathize with them, ready for the reaction, and this will help people digest, that means understand the bad news. We have here the author's main idea is that bad news is hard to impart. All employers have to criticize their employees. There are ways of softening the impact of bad news. People respond emotionally to bad news. So, which one is the answer? All right. The answer is not A. The answer is not B. The answer must be C. Softening the impact. Impact means the effect of bad news. And this is, expressed in the final sentence. Although it is never easy to break bad news, if you follow these steps, you will at least soften the blow. You soften the blow by means the effect of bad news. Question number 2, where is the main idea expressed? In the first sentence, in the last sentence, in the middle, nowhere. Of course, we have, in the final sentence is the answer. Right. So we have these steps expressed, which are expressed, in the previous part of the, upper part of the passage. Let's move to the next. If you don't have any questions, please, if you have any questions about any reading, any passage, please let me know. The author's main idea is that bad news is hard to impart, as we have said, and so on. Number 2, again, we have the main idea is supported by examples of employers giving bad news, or a list of reasons for having to break bad news, sympathy for both the employer and the employee, instructions on how to soften the blow of bad news. Which one is the answer. The main idea is supported by. Now we look for supporting details. Supporting details is here, we have here, yes, they are expressed in the instructions. So D, we have instructions on how to soften the blow of bad news. These are supporting details. In addition to finding the main idea and supporting details in a reading passage, it is also important to understand an author's intent or purpose. When you read critically, you must understand what the author is saying. Distinguish fact from opinion. Facts are facts. Facts are facts. General facts. Opinions are just the opinion, the point of view of the author or the writer. Determine the author's attitude toward the topic. Does he approve it or disapprove? Does he support? Is he, pro or con? Yes, that means does he believe that this is correct or incorrect? Is he supporting it, encouraging it, or discouraging, blaming, attacking? Yes, you have to know the different points of view. And that means sometimes the writer is satirical. He doesn't mean what he says. Well, we have to move on and read the paragraph that follows, then answer the questions about the author's intent. Here we have reading 4. It's about yogurt. You know, yogurt is like milk. Yogurt has as much nutritional value as a glass of milk. Yet dieters and health food fanatics claim that yogurt will prolong your life and reduce your girth. Their claims are backed by reports that yogurt eaters over the years have lived longer and healthier lives than non-yogurt eaters. However, what proof is there that rural life and its ensuing greater physical activity rather than consumption of yogurt are not the cause of these persons' longevity? Right. So we have the main idea here is yogurt and longevity or long life. Yogurt, supports your health and improves or increases your longevity. You live longer. We have, you can of course read it twice. This passage, any passage you can read it twice. Slowly. You can underline any difficult word, and then you read quickly, understanding as much as you can. So don't get troubled. Don't bother if you don't understand certain words. The author's intent is to show that his intention, his point of view, right from the first sentence, we read yogurt has as much nutritional value as a glass of milk. That means yogurt is not a magic. Yogurt is not different from milk. Yogurt is good for your health. Eating B, eating yogurt will prolong your life. C, yogurt is the same as milk. D, there is no proof that yogurt increases longevity. Now, of course, we have more than one answer is possible. We have yogurt is the same as milk, and there is no proof that yogurt alone increases longevity. Perhaps if you live in a village, you have rural life, you are living in a quiet, nice, clean environment or surrounding. This will increase, improve your health and increase your longevity. Number 2, the paragraph advises the readers that A, yogurt will help a person to live to be 100. B, the author has little faith in yogurt lovers' claims. C, yogurt may be harmful to dieters and health food lovers. D, people in rural areas get a lot of yogurt. So if you read these options, we can say that B must be the answer. The author has little faith. He does not believe that yogurt lovers claim that yogurt prolongs your life or your age. Right. We move to other questions. We have questions on reading 1. The author's intent is A, to show the effects of smoking and drinking on left-handed people. B, to encourage people to stop drinking and smoking, especially if they are left-handed. C, to show that left-handed people suffer more from stress than right-handed people. D, unclear. If you examine these options, which one must be the right answer? Which one expresses the intent of the author or the author's intent? All right. Yes. If you read carefully, you must realize that C is the correct answer, because it tells us that his intention, his purpose, is to show that left-handed people suffer more from stress than right-handed people. All right, the next question. The author's attitude towards the subject is favorable, unfavorable, unclear. Of course, it is unclear. He is quite neutral. He does not support or criticize left-handed people. He neither supports nor criticizes left-handed people. He is on takes the neutral side. Number 3 here, after reading this passage or this paragraph, the readers would have a favorable opinion, have an unfavorable opinion, or need more information to form an opinion. Right. You can have two ways. If you feel that the information is enough or sufficient, we can have favorable opinion or unfavorable opinion. It depends upon you. But of course, we need more information because the passage is too short to support his point. Reading two. Here, the author's intent is to determine the shocking person, to instruct a person taking first aid course. See here, we have to give advice to shocking person or unclear. Of course, the aim of the intent is to help a person taking, first aid course, how to deal with a shocking person. Number two, this type of paragraph is considered to be frightening, difficult to understand, a how-to item, a reading exercise. The first one, frightening, means gives you fear, frightened, makes you afraid. It's not correct. Difficult to understand? No, it is not difficult to understand. It is easy. A how-to item means a paragraph is designed to show how you do jobs or things or something. Reading exercise? No, not reading. It can be, as you see, C must be the answer. This type of paragraph is considered to be a how-to item. They are designed to tell you how to do certain things, certain jobs, a variety of jobs, not one. Right. If we move to reading 5, we have, yes, we have longevity of widowers. Most of us believe that the death of a spouse often leads to the premature death of the bereft partner. After 12 years of study involving 4,000 widows and widowers, Johns Hopkins University researchers have perceived that it is the husbands and not the wives whose lives are shortened by the loss of their spouses. However, the study indicates that widowers who remarry enjoy greater longevity than men the same age who continue to live with their first wives. Right. So, reading 5 is about what? About widowers who remarry, live longer than those who stay or continue to live with their first wives. And we have Johns Hopkins University. This is a famous university, well known in America, the United States. Right. You can read it, twice or three times. Underline any difficult words. You have, for example, the word premature. You have a spouse. You have bereft. You have partner, you have involving, and we have perceived. We have words like um, uh, indicate, um, longevity. Yes, these words can form difficulties, can be regarded as difficult. You have to look them up in the dictionary before reading or after reading. Now let's have a look on the questions. The main idea is that men live longer than their wives, or B, widowers live longer than single men. C, remarriage after a spouse's death prolongs men's lives. D, the death of a spouse shortens the life of the surviving partner. Right. The main idea is that, um, all right, the main idea is we have 2 points. Number one, remarriage, and number two, the death of a spouse. Yes, but the writer, here, yes, the main idea must be C, or D. Yes, no, right. B. The death of a spouse shortens the life of the surviving partner, especially men who lost or lose their wives. Their lives are shortened. The number two, the author's intent is to show, yes, to discuss a medical discovery, make a conjecture regarding death, correct a generally held misconception, advise widowers to live long alone. Uh, if you read slowly, his intention, his purpose is to correct a generally held misconception. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The general misconception is that the death of a spouse shortens the life of the surviving partner. But the conclusion here is quite different and surprising. It says that those who lose their wives and remarry live longer than those, the same men, the same age, other men who continue to live or stay with their first wives.